Welcome back. This is Dollars and Cents Radio. You are so smart to be here today, especially if you've been listening to the first half of the program today. We've got another 30 minutes to spend with you. But before we get back to talking with Doug Horne, your Dollars and Cents Radio guy, that's you, I know. 855-317-2346, 855-317-2346, and this is for your free Dollars and Cents retirement book. The call is free. The book is free. Got the number? 855-317-2346. Every weekend, we spend an hour together to sort out the possibilities and get you pointed in the right direction for a comfortable retirement. It's basically a conversation that Doug and I have based on your question, and every week we take the time to get those questions answered, drill down on the specifics, and find the answers that work best for you. That's what I like about this conversation that we have here, Doug. It really is just kind of an introductory conversation for folks listening who really are curious about this, and they do want to get some answers.
Oh, sure.
They do need the answers.
Absolutely.
It is said that finding a financial advisor is like finding a significant other.
Oh, dear. I hope it's not that hard.
but no, and that's the thing. You don't make it that hard. The one thing that I have, first of all, you're a great conversationalist. I can't imagine that anybody has ever said, I don't like talking to you. You don't resonate with me. Have you ever heard some commentary from people you sit down and go, well, this was easier than I thought it was going to be? Huh? Did you ever hear that?
No. And you know, I try to make it easy for people to call me on the phone especially for the first time, because like we talked about in the first half hour, it's intimidating to pick up the phone and call a stranger or make an appointment to go see a stranger or talk to a stranger, and
especially about
your personal financial situation. But it needs to be done, and most people realize that. That's why I try to make it easy. I've always said in sales, and I don't like to think of myself as a salesman. I solve problems for people and show them things that I think are going to be fantastic for them. But in sales in general, I've always thought you have to have a great product, which we do, and they have to like you. And that's just across the board. If you just can't stand the I don't care if you're at a car dealership, you can't stand the salesman, you're probably going to go buy that car somewhere else, and you'll find something similar.
Right.
But I try to make it easy for people because this is a tough thing for them. They're making the commitment to learn a product or learn if this product is for them in their retirement, because they know they have to do something. Oftentimes they don't know what, but they know they have to do something. So if I can make their first step easier, and that's why we love to send out the book, the free book, will talk about these products and talk about the situation. And then if they'd like to talk with me, I'm all for it. But we're not pushy. We just want to get you the book first, and then you'll know a little bit more about these safe money products. And from there, hopefully it turns into talking with us and then talking about your situation, me sending you out some product, specific illustrations based on your situation, and then us getting back together on Zoom or the phone or in person, and going over, the specifics of the questions that they would have based on their situation and their individualized little plan. And I love that. But if I can make that easy on people, that's my job.
Yeah, and you do it well. 855-317-2346 for your free Dollars and Cents retirement book. The call is free. The book is free. 855-317-2346. I always think about you, and I connect you with the plumber, the doctor, the car repair specialist, because you really don't know, as an automobile owner, you don't really know what's under the hood and how it's all working. So therefore, you go to a specialist. Not anymore. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It didn't used to be that way, which is kind of ironic because that's kind of like retirement is today as it was in the past. But
a lot more choices.
Yeah. Yep. And if you've chosen to open the hood up and look under the hood and say, wow, wonder what all this stuff does. You don't need to completely understand the way things work, but you need to know that the person you are talking with does make those things happen, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And, You don't need to look under the hood and need to know how the engine works, but you'd like to think at the end of the day it's going to, because that's what we're talking about. And
Right.
your retirement needs to work for you. Unlike going to, did you mention a chiropractor? You can say, that guy really wasn't for me,
Yeah.
or you try a new dry cleaner and they don't do quite up to speed
It's
with
got to be a
what you're
good
used
fit.
to. Those things you can get past really easily. You make mistakes with your retirement and go into the wrong product or the wrong person, and there can be a lot of damage done before you get it corrected.
Yeah.
Unlike going to the dry cleaner and saying, "Hey, I got to find a new one," or
Yeah.
I'm not happy with that restaurant anymore. There's thousands of more restaurants. No harm,
Yeah.
But with the financial world and with your retirement,
One shot.
it's just one big mistake, and that could stay with you. That could haunt you.
And something you wouldn't want to live with. 855-317-2346 for your free dollars and cents retirement book. Doug, sometimes the retirement nest egg isn't as big as we'd like it to be, okay? I mean, that's just a reality here. How do you help folks who might have missed the sweet spot for retirement income? What do you do? What do you say?
Well, no matter what the size of somebody's retirement portfolio, it's what they've got when they come to see me. And so our job is to make that perform the best that it can, and hopefully, attain the client's goals as far as income, while getting growth at the same time in a safe way, in a low fee or no fee way. That's our job. And yes, we can all look back and say, "Gosh, what if I would have bought Apple when it first came out?"
Really?
But we didn't. So here we are.
Yeah.
Hopefully, if you own some Apple now, great. But we've all heard the stories about the guy that, Dell Computer, when he was, first building computers. Wow, if you'd have put $10,000 into that, you'd be be Jeff
What if?
Bezos today. But I even argue with that. No, you would have waited till it turned into 50,000, and you would have sold it, thinking this is too good to be true. So anyway,
The days of playing the market, the days of providing for your retirement are what we're talking about today here with Dollars and Cents Radio. I like to think that when folks get the opportunity to talk with you and sit down with you, whether it be via Zoom or face to face or whatever, um, I think it's important. If I were coming to talk to you, I would want to bring some clear financial goals that I think I want.
oh sure.
Is that something that's an important first step?
It's always good if the client has an idea of what their income goals are in retirement, which would include Social Security for you, for your spouse, any pensions that you've got. But adding those to what you expect to take out of your retirement portfolio, and coming up with a set number of like, "Hey, here's what I think the minimum would be for me to live on," and then anything above and beyond that can be just one-time withdrawals and so forth, because you don't want to set yourself up for too much guaranteed income and then be paying taxes on that and find your checking account just growing and growing. And why pay tax on it until you need it, if we're talking IRAs and so forth,
Right.
or any of the tax-deferred products. But yes, the more thought you put into it before, like, "Hey, this is my goal. This is, all of our goals are going to be, I want to be happy in retirement and have enough money." But, to go beyond there and say, "Gosh, if I had X amount of dollars per month or X amount of dollars per year, I think that would get us by." And then for the special one-time things or life events that happen, not a problem to go in there and get more. But, just having a clear idea of what it is we're trying to accomplish for you. And if they don't, that's fine too. I can show them what their portfolio and with our product, what is possible, and then we can go from there. So whether they come bringing information or just come and say, "Let's start from scratch," it's all good. We can get there.
Do most of these conversations happen with a husband and wife, or I would assume that you're usually meeting with a couple of folks at a time, right?
Typically, yes. And, it doesn't have to be that way. If the work schedules are too conflicting, I can talk with one and then start fresh with both of them when it's convenient. Sure. With the phone and Zoom appointments, I love working on Saturdays. I hate to say that because it's fun to have Saturdays off, but it's a great time to get to the couple that might have conflicting schedules, and they both want to sit down and talk. And I'll say, "Well, how about Saturday if that works?" One thing about going to the office on Saturday, there's just no traffic. Always look at the bright spot. That's a blessing. So.
Yeah, it really is. And for everyone around as well, because it seems to me that sometimes weekend conversations are a little bit more relaxed and conducive to success in that regard, because you've got some more time.
Well, and that makes sense too, because if they're both trying to get off work at 5 and get to my office at 5:30, or get to their computer so we can Zoom, or get home so they can be together for a conference call, it's after, in that situation, it's after a long hard day, and they're both tired. Maybe the kids are needing things, or they're hungry. If need be, Saturdays, weekend appointments are great.
Part of the process with getting engaged with you with Dollars and Cents Radio here at 855-317-2346 is asking the right questions. It would seem to me that you would want that type of input on the other side of the conversation about saying, okay, you've got somebody on the phone. What kind of questions do you want them to ask you?
I want them to ask me whatever's on their mind, whatever their concerns are. But most people tend to eventually get all the basic questions out. Hey, what's the history with these products? What's the history of returns? Mm-hmm. Are they safe? This sounds too good to be true. I can't tell you how much I hear that. I like it and I don't like it. It's not too good to be true. We've got, 25 years of history with these products with big, huge A-rated insurance companies. So It's not like they just started yesterday. Mutual funds have been around a lot longer, but we don't need 40 years of your mutual fund history return. Most people look at the 1, 3, and 5. So people eventually get to all those questions. What happens if an insurance company goes out of business? That's so easy to answer, and it makes people feel great about the answer to it. But most people get to the same types of questions, even as far as how do these work? How do they guarantee that you'll never lose money in a bad market, and so forth? But we cover all of them, whether they ask or not, because these are the important points about the product, and these are what people need to hear, because that's what they love about these products. So, just whether they ask or not, I'm going to tell them everything there is to know about them. And there's just not too much, there's not anything to not like.
Speaking of questions, and I'm not going to call these dumb questions, because I don't believe any question is a dumb question. We'll call it the most interesting questions the folks have asked you over the course of years. So this is our Letterman, or David Letterman top 5, or whatever you want to call it, top 3 of the most interesting questions you have been asked in a conversation.
Gosh, I wouldn't even know where to go with that. Every once in a while, myself included, we just, what do you call it, a mental lapse, and you'll say something and go, I can't believe I just said that or asked that. And I think everybody can have a tendency to do that. But you're right, there is no dumb questions. I mean, when they're asking about the history or how things work, or what's it going to be like, and so forth, there can't be a dumb question. They're talking about their future and their finances, and this is important stuff, and that's why they came to me in the first place.
Yeah.
I guess a dumb question, to give you a finite answer, I can't think of any.
Okay.
I can't think of any, because,
I think that's good that you say that, because people shouldn't be afraid to ask questions when they come to you, should they?
No, and sometimes the most simplistic thing can seem dumb to some people, but it's important because you need to know it. What happens if this insurance company goes out of this A-plus insurance company goes out of business? Well, they're big and huge, and that's what the ratings games are for. And we would know way ahead of time if they're getting into trouble. And it's just so rare that it happens. But people don't know that until I tell them that, or the answer to anything.
So what you've done is you've given me the answer of how you might approach a conversation with Doug. And don't be afraid to ask any question that's on your mind, because there are no dumb questions, only important questions.
That's right.
Why?
That's
because they relate to you. The free Dollars and Cents retirement book is yours today. 855-317-2346. 855-317-2346. Maybe you know a friend or relative that's in the same boat as you, either in retirement or entering retirement, in need of a better direction for retirement funds. Isn't that everybody? Give them a call. Tell them about the radio program that you're listening to right now. Pass along Doug's contact info, that free toll-free number, 855-317-2346, to make sure that they share in Doug's knowledge and retirement funding experience. And baby, it's there since 93. A lot of experience. And a lot of great things have happened with dollars and cents. And you did a great job, by the way, Doug. Congratulations.
Well, thank you, Ray. Thank you, Ray. We're, like we talked about earlier in the first half, happy to be expanded into the South Florida area. We're solid Texas, but now we're branching out from there, and it's exciting to grow because no matter what area of the country, these products work the same, of course, and people have the same retirement needs. And so the bigger we can grow and the more people I can help, we're just pleased to do it.
What a great area, too, as well. Two great states that now we're talking to. People love to talk about their lives and their dreams. I mean, people love to talk about that kind of stuff. But with your success in the retirement world, it sounds to me like you're a pretty doggone good listener. And I think that's important. Why is it important to hear the individual story?
I'm sorry, what was the question? I'm teasing, of course.
That was a joke, okay? Okay, you're awake again. Go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, gosh. People, even though everyone's money needs to do essentially the same thing. It needs to be there. It needs to be as safe as you can make it, and it needs to provide an income for you in retirement. People have different concerns or different questions at different times, and you have to listen for that because, my biggest fear is, somebody getting off the phone or getting off the Zoom and, me realizing later that, I didn't cover this or I didn't cover that, and they're going to eventually think of that. And so that would be the opposite of a dumb question. That would be me not providing a smart answer when I should have or could have, and it just didn't come up in that conversation. So, there's whatever people are concerned about, that's what we need to get answered for them so that they can move forward, whatever that means to them. Hopefully moving forward with us, but just moving forward with their retirement.
See, that's the thing. What Doug just said, hopefully moving forward with us. This is just a basic conversation that you have, an important one too as well. And if you haven't done that, it's a good time to do that. 855-317-2346. Retirement, Doug, as with life, can come with a few roadblocks, okay? The what ifs. What if I pass away before my wife? What if we need more comprehensive medical care? What kind of what ifs do you hear in conversation? And how do you address those what if kind of questions?
Oh, just one at a time because they're as important as any other question. Yes, if you're married, chances are one of you is going to go before the other unless you're, in an auto wreck or something, heaven forbid. But,
right.
That's a normal question. What happens if my kids inherit this? What's their tax consideration going to be?
Right.
What happens? Do I have to pull money out of a non-qualified account for RMDs? Of course not, just the IRA accounts. Going back to the questions people ask, you would ask, let's not say dumb, let's say not as smart as other questions, but a couple things came to me. People say, well, gosh, can this work? Can these programs work for IRA money? And it's like, well, of course, they work for qualified money as well as they work for non-qualified money. There's different rules with IRAs as there is for tax-deferred products. But again, people might be shy to ask a question like that because it's an obvious answer to those of us that have been doing this for 30 years. But those are good questions. It's like, no, you get too much building up in your checking account. We can use that to start one of these. I'd say the vast majority of what we do with people's money is IRA money because that's where the vast majority of people have the bulk of their retirement is in their 401ks, which become IRAs. But people sometimes don't know that an IRA can be transferred or someone with 3 or 4 IRAs can combine them into one. It's not just direct rollovers from 401ks and 403bs. We do IRA transfers. We do people that inherit money, people that have just, because they've been successful, have a lot of money building up in their money market or checking account.
Yeah.
We can deal with any of that.
I can't imagine anybody wanting to go into retirement with the blindfolds on and saying, well, whatever happens, happens. It's the way it is. And I don't see that.
I don't think people go into that intentionally. I do see inaction because sometimes I think it's human nature, if people aren't exactly sure what to do or fairly sure what to do, they might just err on the side of doing nothing, and that can be a problem too. If we've got all our money in the 401k and it's still at risk, and we just don't know where to go with it or what to do or who to call, you're in danger of that money going down if we have another market correction.
Right.
We had talked in the first half hour about, the markets we've done well since recovering from the 30% drop last spring.
Yeah.
The markets have been fantastic, but some of our portfolios, when you look at the sky high 1-year return numbers, you think, well, that's great for the past year and great for people recovering from that dip, when we had the pandemic start. But will we sustain those numbers? Will the market sustain those numbers? Again, that's why I think this reminds me a lot of 1999 or 2007, right before the big ones, so to speak. And nobody's got a crystal ball. I tell people mine broke a long time ago, but there's common sense you can put into it. It's like if something just hit a 70% for the 1-year return, that's not where I want to put my money right now. I might have been grateful for that 70% return, but they're not going to sustain that. And in other words, we're not going to do 70 next year and the year after that and the year after that.
No.
I mean, I just don't see that happening, and it doesn't in most cases. So now more than ever, because of where we're at with just the whole political climate, with the markets, being high like they are, I think a lot of people are nervous about how close are we to the next big one. I don't think the pandemic and what happened to the markets, that was a short-term thing. I don't think that was the big one that everyone's waiting for.
Wow.
And the more people I talk to in the industry and the more just average people I talk to, people are concerned about how long is this going to last, and gosh, what should we do? Because nobody wants to be there when you lose 40%, like in 2000 or in 2008.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
It does make a lot of sense. And the cool part of this program today is this is kind of an entree for you to touch base with Doug. Get the free Dollars and Cents Retirement Book, 855-317-2346. Doug will send it to you. Then you have a conversation just like Doug and I are having right now today.
Absolutely.
It's no different. It's no different. Doug, some folks listening right now might be saying, I'm not sure Doug can help me here. Encourage those folks to take the time to call you.
Oh, absolutely. Maybe I can't help you. Questions come in all forms. I've got people that call up and, want to ask about property they inherited in a different state, and that's just not my cup of tea. I can set them in the right direction.
Sure.
We have resources we can use, but if it's just questions about their retirement and what they should do, I can help them whether they end up using us or not. I can help steer them in the right direction, and I do that plenty of times, and I'm glad to do that. I look at that as just a community service. You've got a burning question about something that has nothing to do with me or my business. If I can answer it for you, then I've created goodwill. I've made a friend, and hopefully they think of me when they do have financial questions that relate to what we do and what we can do for them, down the road.
Some of the topics that are off limits would be plumbing, deck building, and what else don't you talk about?
I think deck building's pretty interesting if I'm watching somebody else do it. Plumbing, definitely not. Electrical, no. I stay away from electrical. I've been shocked too many times.
Electrical, bad idea.
There's a reason they make electricians.
Exactly. And the electricians make a whole bunch of money as well.
God bless
as
them.
do plumbers.
They
yes,
deserve
they
it
do.
because I don't have to shock myself.
So no questions about plumbing or DIY stuff. Questions about your retirement? Yeah, Doug can help. 855-317-2346, the free Dollars and Cents Retirement Book. We only have a moment or so. Nobody wants to have their retirement years spent living on a budget that doesn't allow for some fun time.
Oh, absolutely.
We all want some fun time, don't we? But so many people make that mistake and end up shutting the door on the fun, on life. Talk about how you make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah, I just want people to know, Ray, that our free book is waiting for them in these market times that we're going through right now. I know there's plenty of fear. There's plenty of exuberance over the past year, but there's also the fear that exuberance is followed by that, wow, the markets are high and, who knows where it's going to go for the next year or two. We can help alleviate those fears, but it starts with calling to get our free book, and we'd love to talk to you after that.
Good advice. Thanks, Doug. And thank you for listening to Dollars and Cents Radio. This could be a life-changing day for you if you're listening to the program for the first time, and maybe you haven't taken the time to reach out and request that free Dollars and Cents Retirement Book. Today, you need to do that because start the conversation with Doug. Doug Horne, since '93, helping clients plan for retirement, passionate about showing people how to never lose money again using risk-free strategies. 855-317-2346. 855-317-2346. 855-317-2346. We're out of time, but Doug, as always, what a great opportunity to talk with you.
Oh, thank you, Ray. I've enjoyed it as always.
It's a shame we don't have more time to spend with you today, but this program in Texas, in Florida now, is reaching a lot of people who do feel that it's important to have the conversation about the what-ifs of retirement. Remember that free book, 855-317-2346, that today is the day things change for you. Give the number a call, 855-317-2346. Thanks again for listening. The preceding information does not represent tax, legal, or investment advice. Surrender charges apply to base contracts. Optional lifetime income benefit riders are used to calculate lifetime payments only and not available for cash surrender or in a death benefit unless specified in the annuity contract. Fees may apply. Guarantees are based on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the insurance company. No information presented today should be acted upon without meeting with a qualified and licensed professional. It is important that you read all insurance contract disclosures carefully before making a purchase decision. Rates and returns mentioned on this program may vary based on